Hi everyone. If you know, I'm trying to become a better player playing Valorant, and it's not an easy task. And yesterday, I've decided to, instead of playing just with my favorite weapon, to try out other weapons and to see which one I actually can benefit from in different situations. Now, I found out that I really enjoy playing with the Phantom. Uh, and it's actually a very versatile weapon, and if you follow my videos you know that I prefer playing with a shotgun, but it's kind of situational in sometimes, and it forces you to play different compared to if you play with weapons that have longer range. um, so the thing is that when I play with random people, I couldn't build the right strategy, and everybody's taking their place, and you kind of feel in the other area. Sometimes, of course, I communicate and tell other people I want to get a short, um, but some people don't have voice, so I can't actually communicate with them. So eventually I found myself in a situation where the shotgun is not really good at particular situations. So I needed a more versatile weapon that can give me can serve me well when I'm in short range, mid range, and even long range. And this one was actually a good choice. Now I personally would prefer if there was an option to carry both a shotgun and an auto rifle, but there isn't an option. That being said, you can also change your weapons, of course, after each round. And depends on how the match is developed, you can decide whether a shotgun can be a certain good fit. And it also depends on the communication with the team, yeah, and all the things that I mentioned. But sometimes when things are going well in terms of communication and certain maps, I just switch to the shotgun and try to position myself in a place where I can actually do some devastating results with it compared to if I was with an auto rifle. Now, regarding the aiming accuracy, this is something that takes a lot of practice, and I can definitely say that after a week of playing this game, on and off, my aim become much better. Now, I think this is related to several things. Just first of all, training your eye and eye coordination. I think second, even training how you can actually get used to moving the mouse in a particular game. It actually reminded me the time where actually first time I played with the controller, it just seems like impossible. I told myself, how can people even use a controller to play games? But after I had the PS4, of course, it was so easy for me. It's like second nature. But I remember when a friend of mine came and tried, it's just for him, it was, he couldn't even aim up. It was so funny. Now, even with the mouse, I think you need to play more in order to get those fine movements kind of controlled. And when you maybe accelerate the movement, you need to make sure that you kind of feel how much the cursor will actually move on the screen when you do certain moves in certain speeds. Now, maybe it's also related to some muscles in the hand that can stabilize this movement. I don't know, not sure. But overall, when I played over this week, I felt that I can control my aim much better. And this leads to me having more confidence in one-on-one engagements. Now, this alongside being more relaxed when I play, because before this I was more tensed, leads me to be able to control myself during one versus one engagements. I'm able to aim properly and also put those shots in instead of just shooting all over the place, what happens of course when I start playing. Now, because of all this, my results became more consistent. I was able to pull off like 10 eliminations per round, but of course eliminations is not everything. For example, yesterday there was one enemy that actually was able to pull out, I think, 43 eliminations, but the team lost like in 3 rounds, I think, something like that. So they actually eliminated more than us, but we were able to actually win rounds. I think this is what makes this Valorant such a special game for me, because if you're a very good player in team, it doesn't mean that you're gonna win. No, you need a team effort in order to win matches. Now, when you get more experience, you become more confident in your gameplay. But of course, there will always be people on your way up to improve that will try to put you down. There are many toxic people that I came across, and I totally resilient to this. I mean, I don't care because I learned so much in life, not related to gaming, but in general, that it's all about practicing and getting better, and never let anybody put you down anyway, because those people just project their negativity and insecurity toward others, and that's it. There's nothing other than this. Now, of course, there are people who are frustrated. For example, they know that they play good and they're playing with players that are underperforming, but that's their fault because nobody told them kind of play with random players, right? And right now there's no matchmaking that actually matches you with people in your own rank. And also they can choose to play with their friends or try to team up with other people in order to form a team where they can actually be confident that they are playing with players around the same level. Now this thing actually works 100% because I know how I actually played when I first started playing, and actually right now I actually see those people who are like where I was. I'm playing with them, so they perform really bad, and I'm actually performing now well. But it was the same when I start playing, and the same goes to many other players. So really, there's no more to it. Like, this is actually the thing. If you want to get better, you need to gain experience. Regarding other people, you can do whatever you want. But the thing is that you need to communicate. So if there's somebody toxic, you can just mute them down. Sometimes I just try to talk to them like more repeatedly until they know that they are not effective in what they are doing and they stop. Or sometimes just try to explain to them where it's important for us to communicate, and they kind of lower their negativity and understand that in order for us to win, we need to communicate. Now, when the matchmaking comes, of course, you're going to play with people around your level, so you're less likely to find people who are kind of being toxic because they don't like you being kind of not a good player, not performing well in the match. So I think it'd be lessened, but there'll always be people, no matter what, even if they're doing something wrong, we try to reflect it towards you. I think it's kind of a denial state, that you just blame anyone and not blame themselves. But definitely I feel much more confident in my gameplay, and this leads me to enjoy the game even more. So I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy playing before. Of course I did, but the time that it takes for you to improve is kind of there's a kind of a learning curve, a very kind of a steep learning curve where you need to learn quite a few things and practice a lot in order to gain into a certain moment where you feel confident in your gameplay, and that at this point you actually start enjoying the game more, because you have kind of less frustration, because nobody enjoys losing or just getting a shot like 14, 15 times around and killing just one or two. This is not a fun experience, right? But the more experience you get, the more you're gonna perform better, and you're gonna find yourself enjoying the game more. Now the other thing is, in this game, compared to other first-person shooters like Battlefield and Call of Duty here, that there is no respawn. Now I wish there was a specific mode where you can respawn, but the thing is, when you died here, you can't actually do anything but just watch your teammate trying to win, and this can take quite some time. And you're actually doing nothing at this point. So actually when you die, especially at the start of the match, this becomes very frustrating. Just watching and just waiting and waiting, whether in other first-person shooter games like Battlefield, for example, or Overwatch, you immediately respawn, not immediately, but maybe after some few seconds, you respawn and you can continue playing. So what's the problem with this? The problem is that if you want to practice while playing, you're going to see that sometimes the net time that you're actually playing is relatively low. For example, if you died at the start of the round, you're going to play like, I don't know, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. The other time you're just waiting. So you're not actually playing and practicing while you're doing the actual gameplay. This is why I think that getting more experience here takes more time compared to other games because of this. But this also means that you're going to learn the hard way sometimes how to make sure that you won't actually die, because the importance of staying alive makes every single move more more important and more crucial. Now in that aspect, Valorant is kind of similar to Battle Royale games. For example, when you play alone or with a group, it's very important, of course, to stay alive, because the goal in the game, in Battle Royale games, is to come on top. But there's only one winner, either you or the group that you play with. Now, of course, the two game modes are different, but the same rules apply in terms of the importance of not dying. Now, even if you die, the other team can still win the match, but it's going to be harder because the match is quite large and you are playing 5 versus 5. Also, some heroes are actually very crucial to some hero setup. For example, if you play Sage, you have a revive, and if you die, you won't be able to use it and actually support your teammate. And sometimes players build different strategies based on their utilities. For example, using smoke, slowing down, blocking certain pathways, using the ice wall from Sage. So it's not like you just have the gun and you go and shoot, and if you're playing very good, you have good aim, fast aim, and you can read the movement of the enemy, you can just go and just rush and eliminate everything. So that's why it's important to stay alive. And I can remember how many times I made mistakes just thinking that, all right, let's just go. And there was always somebody waiting for me in a place where I actually wasn't looking at, or I just didn't care and just passed through. There was some enemy who knew that this is a good point to ambush me and took me down. That's when you see professional matches, you can see they are very, very accurate. They cover every single corner. You know every place that an enemy can be, and they're not leaving anything to luck. So basically, when you move, there's always a chance there will be somebody there, and you need to cover every corner. And of course, you need to do it fast, because sometimes there are different areas where enemy can be located. And I've seen some very experienced player covering those areas really, really fast. I was quite shocked. Sometimes they even pre-shoot. I mean, you just go, for example, in a door, and just quickly shoot one bullet, and one bullet is small on the right side, in order to make sure they are not getting hit. They don't care about being exposed at this point, because they know they are in a disadvantage situation, so just do this in order to stay alive. So this is all. After a week of playing, I hope I encourage beginners to keep on playing and not stop and become better. This is the most important for me, and this is actually the important message I want to pass through new players, because when you are around better players, some of them might be toxic to you and kind of put you down. So as I said before, don't let anything put you down. Just continue playing and become better, even better than them. So hope you enjoyed this video. More coming. We're going to continue playing. We're usually playing in the evening. Maybe the ranked matches are already out in the beta, in the closed beta, so we'll wait and see. So that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye everyone. Cheers.